Welcome to part 2 of my top 40 video game soundtracks. In case you missed it, link to part 1 is in the description. Watch that first before this one to get the gist of how this countdown works. For everyone else, let's get right into it. Starting off part 2, we're taking a dive into the dark and depressing world of Hollow Knight. It's truly a work of art with its striking visual style accompanied by somber melodies that get you emotionally invested in the world of this game. Sure, it has its share of intense battle themes as well, but they don't hold a candle to the ambience that each zone theme adds to the experience. Unfortunately for me, I had to play the game with the volume very low the first time, so I couldn't experience it the way it was meant to be. But hearing the music again afterwards solidified it for me as one of the best, as I'm very much drawn to ethereal, somber, depressing music. That'll be very apparent throughout these videos, just saying. I really wanted to put Castlevania Circle of the Moon on here. It's the game that got me into the Castlevania series in the first place, and has a ton of great songs on it that sound really good for something on the Game Boy Advance. But I just can't deny it. Symphony of the Night is just better. I got into this game way later than most fans did, finally playing it from start to 100% completion in 2021, and I loved every second of it, except that one electric boss, just saying, but that's beside the point. This game and its music kicks so much ass, it's no wonder that it was the one that propelled this series to new heights. So many of the game's themes exude a sense of mystery as you uncover the secrets of Dracula's labyrinthine castle. and it even knows how to throw in a funky beat into the mix. And then you get to a boss and the game starts rocking out. It really has it all, and it's so iconic at this point, you really don't need me telling you how good it is, do you? Next up, we have another Metroidvania. Wow, 3 in a row, how about that? And it's also another very easy one to explain. Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I'm including both of them here simply because they both operate in the exact same way, and trying to decide which one is better requires an extreme deal of nitpicking, so yeah. These two games have soundtracks that make you feel like you are on a spiritual journey through nature, because that's pretty much what you were doing in both games. Every song fits the visual theme of the game to a T. And I love the choral background vocals that many of the songs have, that further accentuate the ethereal vibes the music and the entire game expresses. Both Ori games are very emotional games with their stories told less through words and more through action and its incredible music. If there's one game who takes its fantasy inspiration and really wears it on its nose, it's Soul Calibur. And when I mention that name, the first one that comes to mind is the one that got everyone hooked and popularized the series, Soul Calibur 2. But no, we're not talking about that one. Fight me, nerds! We're talking about the actual best game in the series, Soul Calibur 3. Oh yeah, the series really peaked with this game, and its music is no exception, from the opening theme you're hearing now to the incredible new themes for each stage. To one of the best character select themes. To one of the greatest songs in the game, and one of my all-time favorites, in one of the most unexpected places, the character creation menu. Soul Calibur 3 is a game that can get its claws into you very easily, due to the incredibly deep amount of content the game has, even if you're the least competitive person on the planet who normally avoids fighting games. And all of the music in the game complements everything in it perfectly. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Music. Oh yeah, Streets of Rage is an undeniable classic. The video game music of the early 90s saw a massive improvement thanks to the release of the Sega Genesis and the musical wizards that created amazing tracks for its games. Streets of Rage captures that late 80s urban action perfectly with its funky beats and fresh rhythms, or something. I'm too square to describe this properly, just saying. But if I had to pick just one, that's tough. Streets of Rage 2, from what I gather, seems to be the fan favorite. but I'm very partial to the first game's music. Why not both, I guess? 3 and 4 have their merits as well, but without a doubt, 1 and 2 really proved how sick video game music could be, in an era that was still full of low quality beeps and boops. Too bad I suck and can't beat them. Another Falcom game? That's right, boys and girls, time to talk about Ys. We'll get to Trails eventually, but for now, we have Falcom's other longtime flagship, which has a storied history going back to the 80s. But in my opinion, it peaked musically in 2006 with the series prequel, Ys Origin. It was a tough call for this one, as many of the mid-2000s games have incredible music, and Ys Origin is no exception. During your dangerous and difficult ascent of Darm Tower, this game will throw some very unique tracks your way, some of which are remixed from the first 2 games. Many of the songs are incredibly high energy, giving the game a touch of arcadey feel that's perfect for encouraging you to keep those bonus meters up as you slaughter your way through the forces of Darkness's main base to rescue the twin goddesses. Ys 6 and Othenfeldgana also have some incredible music of a similar vein to this game, so they get an honorable mention. But I feel like Ys Origin wouldn't be arguably the best game in the series to this day, if not for its incredible soundtrack. I really wish Ryo Takashita stuck around with Falcom longer, just saying. I almost didn't include this next series on this list at all. Even though I've played so many games from it, it's been way too long since I played one with a memorable soundtrack, which sounds unusual given that it's a series made by Gust, a Japanese RPG developer that was most famous for their unique and creative soundtracks in the past. I'm talking about the Atelier series, a series that has yearly releases that tend to mush together in my memory. But then I remembered, these games tend to let you include previous games' music in certain parts of the game, and there's one that I always went back to whenever the option was available, Atelier Rorona. Wow, I only had to go back 13 games to choose one that stands out well enough to be included on this list, but it stands out so well compared to the others that it's kinda hard to believe. Like I mentioned in part 1, there are many Japanese composers that take inspiration from Celtic music, and this game really shines with those themes. But the music in this game goes even further, fusing Celtic themes with other types of music, such as with some of the exploration tracks. And it also has one of the most charming battle themes I've ever heard. Though many of its successors surpass it in many ways, Atelier Rorona is still the best when it comes to its music. I don't know if the series peaked here musically, as I haven't played most of the games that came out before it, but Rorona will always be special when it comes to its soundtrack. If I had to pick runners-up, it would be Totori, Aisha, and Eska and Logi. But when I played those games, I couldn't help but want to use Rorona's charming Atelier theme in place of theirs. Want to get something stuck in your head? Just play this game. Yeah, I know it's an obvious choice, but I can't help it. The music of Undertale is just so much better than it deserves to be, it's honestly surprising. The game has so many different themes that perfectly encapsulate the emotion. the tension. And even the absurdity of any given moment. Because this game is a surprisingly wild roller coaster despite its appearance. Even without the music working so well in-game, some of the songs are just plain enjoyable and catchy on their own. I think the one that stuck in my head the longest was Death by Glamour. But yeah, this game's music ascending into timeless meme status means I probably don't have to explain any of this. Unless you played the game at launch, you most likely became aware of the songs before you played it thanks to how much it spread like wildfire. Anyway, bones out for Undertale. High school, magical girls, power of friendship. A combination of themes that really isn't my thing, and yet, it's here on this list. Oh hey, it's Gust again, which is why I gave it a try in the first place. I have to be fair after all, because I probably wouldn't have liked Blue Reflection as much as I did, if not for the incredible soundtrack. As odd as it is to say it like this, many of the game's themes feel like a gentle breeze on a beautiful, calm and quiet sunny day, in music form. Hearing them just makes you want to kick back and relax. The music is so expressive, and yet so subtle, I can't help but love it. But also, the music knows how to kick it into high gear once the magical girl action starts. The second game is no slouch in the music department either, but it was the first game's music that I really fell in love with, and I honestly think they struck gold with it. I'd be shocked if they make a better one if the series continues. I'd love to be proven wrong, but as long as the series continues on mobile, I'll probably never find out, just saying. Regardless, Blue Reflection's soundtrack helped turn an otherwise subpar game into something very memorable.
準備はできたリフレクティマン願いをつないできっと明日を変えてみせるいつか約束の地で君と笑顔で会いたいからやっぱりウクレは寂しいね
Kirby, a series whose music I generally am not fond of due to it being a bit too much on the super happy-go-lucky hyper side, but there's a few that stand out to me, and the most standout songs in my opinion come from Kirby's Superstar. Not only does it have fantastic reimagined versions of Kirby's Dreamland songs in it, used in a quasi-remake called Spring Breeze, it has a ton of original themes that became iconic to the series and are fondly remembered to this day. Kirby Superstar is a game that has 5 different smaller games in it, with music versatile enough to be used in more than one of them, with classic wondrous magical themes such as in the Great Cave Offensive. To the hard-hitting action anime-inspired Meta Knight's Revenge. There's tons of absolute classics that fit each theme of the game very well, but there's one theme that stands out above them all, a song that's so much more than meets the ear. Really focus and try to catch the time signature of this song. It's not easy. Marx's theme is an absolutely chaotic song, rapidly switching between only odd-numbered time signatures rather than the most common 4/4, for a chaotic mad villain, and it's probably one of the greatest songs Jun Ishikawa has ever composed. Honorable mention for me goes to Kirby 64. And with that, Part 2 is over. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and stay tuned for Part 3.